Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us on the web. This is Gil Davis, City Chopper 4 Bravo, along with my pilot, Derek Bell. We are over a high-speed, dangerous pursuit that started in South LA. It is a carjacking suspects. There's two suspects in the vehicle. Now, they took this vehicle. This victim of the carjacking may have been assaulted with that sledgehammer. We are hearing that their officers are calling these suspects attempted murder suspects as well. So a high rate of speed here as the vehicle is traveling southbound on Military Avenue. Actually, now it's Greenfield, and the vehicle hard on the brakes. Now, there has been a collision at one point during the pursuit on Manchester, but the car continued to go away from that accident now. We are now on Venice Boulevard eastbound, and the LAPD Southeast Division is continuing to stay in pursuit. There's an aircraft overhead, a helicopter that's tracking the pursuit. But again, a very dangerous high-speed chase on surface streets. They got onto the 405 as well at one point. Look at that driving there, weaving in and out of traffic. We saw that on the freeway as we were approaching Venice Boulevard coming up to Overland. A lot of people out here on the streets and on the freeways for that matter, but the driver here just very reckless and dangerous, trying to get away whatever means possible, but so far LAPD staying right on track. He's going to go right through Lotus, continuing eastbound on Venice Boulevard. And again, two suspects in the vehicle, wanted for carjacking and attempted murder. Wrong side of the road, here he goes. This is not good. He's got a clear path right now, not a whole lot of traffic coming at him, but there's some construction right there on that street. Eastbound and the westbound lanes, car is having to dive out of the way there as this driver just doesn't care. He's just going to go against traffic here on the wrong side of the road. Lots of traffic coming up, and he's going to be left turn into a neighborhood there. That's a big relief, but you see LAPD hot on their tail there as the driver continues now northbound. It looks like it might be Watsika is the street that the driver's on right now. Coming out to an intersection here. And he's going to go eastbound Regent. Eastbound Regent. This pursuit started about 15-20 minutes ago in the area of Normandy, and we'll have to get a cross street for that, but the vehicle traveled, oh, look at that, people on bicycles right there going on the wrong side of the road. And now he's going to go back out to Venice, I believe it is, and right side of the road this time, but continuing to try to evade officers here. Coming up to Robertson, he's got nowhere to go. Look at that, squeezes right by those cars, parked cars, and the ones in the slow lane. Wow, close calls there. No doubt, but this driver really desperate to get away, trying anything and everything to get away. The driver made their way to the LAX area and turned around, got on the 405, went northbound on the 405. He's using that shoulder there to pass. Oh, squeezing right by that car. Might have hit that car. It looked like something came off that vehicle that was parked there, maybe the side view mirror. But again, this driver desperate to get away has collided at least one time with a vehicle on Manchester. Here he goes into the turn pocket, left turn pocket, and he's going to split those cars right through La Cienega. That was La Cienega. He just passed through eastbound Venice. And there's the 10 freeway. Going to go under the 10 freeway. High rate of speed. I'm going to bring in our map system once again. So you can watch the speedometer there. He's Fairfax coming up, and he's going to make that right turn against traffic. A lot of cars out here, a lot of cross traffic. LAPD doing what they can to stay behind the vehicle. The airship overhead tracking, calling it out. This is southbound Fairfax, back under the 10 freeway. And let's see, not trying to get back to the freeway, so he's going to continue On Fairfax, he's going to go in and out of traffic there as well, and through another intersection, blowing red lights. Once again, these are carjacking suspects, also attempted murder suspects. They used a sledgehammer to steal this blue Honda Sonata. Oh, look at that, driving wrong side of the road. Splitting cars going on in the turn pocket now. We are now La Cienega. He's back on the La Cienega now, southbound. Here goes an intersection. The left turns, green light, and he goes against those cars. Those cars having to swerve a little bit to get out of his way. Whoa, look at that. That car's trying to get out of the way. Close calls, no doubt. Oh, man, in and out of traffic, whatever means possible to get away from the officers, but the officer's sticking with it. Here he is in the turn pocket, and he's going to go left turn. Here comes eastbound turn, eastbound Obama Boulevard, and Derek is going to go under us. He's eastbound. He's going to come right off our nose here in just a second. He's going to be eastbound Obama Boulevard, approaching Hauser. Shoot. High rate of speed there. Look at that speed. He's just blown by those cars. Coming up to La Brea, he's going to hop into a parking lot here. He's going to go around that traffic. He had nowhere to go at that street, so he jumped into the parking lot in and out onto La Brea, southbound La Brea from Obama Boulevard. And the driver, you can see how desperate this suspect is to get away. Oh boy, here we go into even more traffic on La Brea. It's going to be through Coliseum, continuing to weave. He's got a 3-lane road there to contend with all that traffic in and out. This is so dangerous. You know, you have pedestrians on the street. We saw some bike riders in a neighborhood. He blew right by. But again, this pursuit, very dangerous. Southbound La Brea through Veronica, and the LAPD still tracking. We're looking at speeds of about 85 miles an hour. Speeds varying there. I'll come out to a little bit of wider shot so you get a perspective of the traffic up ahead. A little bit less traffic in this area right now, but still, when he comes down the hills here, down off the hill, he's going to have more traffic to contend with. Look at all that traffic there. Right through Overhill, continuing on La Brea. The wrong side of the road. So the units have dropped back because of the reckless driving here, and the high-speed driving is just too dangerous. They're going to, in tracking mode right now with the helicopter is what they're doing to keep track of the vehicle. Here he goes right through a red light against traffic. Unbelievable. He just makes that left turn onto Slauson now, eastbound Slauson from La Brea. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit to see if we can see the suspects in there. A little hard to tell because of the tinted windows, but you can see the driving continues to be out of control and dangerous. There he goes on the wrong side of the street, right against cars that are coming right the same direction as he's traveling. He almost hit a couple of vehicles there. Yeah. Okay, Kevin, no problem. continuing eastbound on Slauson. Yeah, go ahead, Kevin. You know, I don't know if it's a Honda or a Hyundai. I thought they said Honda, but Hyundai, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for clearing that up, Kevin. A Hyundai. Oh, man, look at this. Into a neighborhood here. This is eastbound 58th, I believe it is, place from Hyde Park. Coming up to Crenshaw, it's going to be very busy. And there is construction on Crenshaw. Here's Crenshaw. There's the construction. He's going to make that southbound turn from 58 now, southbound Crenshaw. Wow. Just so erratic from one lane to the other. Now he's trapped. He's going to go, push his way through. Unbelievable. He's got nowhere to go. No reason to do that. Here comes the driver and the passenger. They're jumping out. 3 passengers. We got 2 males and a female. The driver there in the blue bandana around the neck. They're all running the same direction right now. And they're going to continue to run westbound. They're going into that neighborhood right there. He's going to jump the fence. That looks like the driver going into the backyard of this house. Here he goes out the back. He's got his bandana on his head, it looks like, or maybe a hoodie. Jumping the fence once again. And now kind of losing him under that tree. Let's see which way. There he goes. He's going to be running. Oh, he's going to go back the other way. Hopefully that house is secure. Their doors are locked. He made his way back, and he might be going down the other side of the house here, but unfortunately. Okay. Unfortunately, we can't move any further south because of LAX airspace, but you see this is the house on 59th place near Crenshaw. We have not seen any more movement, but we're going to keep a wide shot. That was the driver that was running and jumped into this backyard, and have not seen any movement since. Airship overhead. They have close eyes on all 3 suspects right now, and LAPD units in the area. They're going to set up a containment in this neighborhood, and in particular this house, which we have not seen that suspect come out of. That suspect started running down the driveway towards the front of the house and then turned back towards the back as if maybe he saw an open window or door that he maybe climbed into. It's hard to say. We weren't in the back there to see that. But again, just a block and a half away from where the car tried to pass all the cars on Crenshaw, and they stopped, got out, and ran. Here comes a couple of officers in front of the house. And now they're making contact with someone in that driveway. And that's the house we were looking at. They're saying that the driver is on the west side of the house, which is going to be right here by the air conditioner unit. And that's what I saw some movement there. So the driver has not moved there. The officer's on the east side in the front by the gate there on the left-hand side of your screen. But the airship is saying they can see the suspect. He's hunkered down in the bushes on the west side of the house. And now they're trying to make access to the driveway gate. Now they're going to go to the front door, and then to the west here comes the officer. So back down there is where that suspect is supposed to be hiding. Well, we'll see if there's any movement. I'm listening. I paused momentarily here to listen to the officers talk about the situation. They have a woman there that was in that car. Maybe she came out of that car. Maybe she saw something or heard something. The airship believes the suspect is down on the west side of this home. Well, so the officers are trying to make access to that backyard, and they're verifying right now with the airship. So they're going to lock down this neighborhood for sure. They're already setting up a perimeter as we speak. The suspect is last seen there on the side of the house. They have their guns drawn and looking at that west side of that house. This is again off of 59th Place, just east of Crenshaw. It was a very dangerous high-speed chase, carjacking suspects and attempted murder suspects. They said that they used a sledgehammer to steal the vehicle from a victim, and that sledgehammer may have been used against that victim that owned the car, a blue Hyundai Sonata. Awesome. Thank you, Kevin. My assignment desk manager, Kevin LaBeach, telling me that some of our viewers are watching our shot and notice some movement back here by the garage. We really appreciate the extra eyes on this for sure. So we're zooming in as the officers maintain the front of the vehicle, or the front of the house, I should say. Now, the airship did lose the suspect in those bushes along the right side of the picture there between the houses. So it very well could be that the suspect made his way back here along the garage. There might have been some movement in there, or maybe got into that tree. But right now, they are really focusing their attention on this property. Officers in the front. We're hearing now that they're going to evacuate people inside of this house. There are some children inside the house that they want to get out of harm's way right now and get those children out of the house. So they're going to evacuate the house and make sure that suspect didn't get inside. It was that blue bandana that they're talking about right now that identified the driver. As I watched the driver get out of the vehicle, it looked like the driver had a bandana of some sort around his neck. He made his way over the fence. We saw that bandana or beanie, they're saying now, on top of his head when he jumped the fence here. And now the officers making their way to the front door to try to get those children out of the house. A 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, and an elderly grandmother inside that house. How terrifying is that? You have a stranger jumping into your backyard, running around your backyard, and then all of a sudden the police arrive. It's got to be terrifying for those kids and that grandmother. They're going to try to bring them out the front door, but as there's a good number of LAPD officers here in front of the house We did, some of our viewers, and thank you for that, may have seen some movement back here by the garage area, but still it looks like we have not seen that suspect leave this property. Initially, the call was 2 suspects in that vehicle, but we saw 3 jump out and run, the driver and 2 passengers. Here comes the first child out of the car, or out of the house, I should say. And the second one, a little bit smaller, going to the arms of that woman there that was in the driveway that first met officers. So a very scary situation, no doubt. So there goes the occupants of the house, 2 young children and a grandmother is now safe. Now the house is empty. They're going to go into and through this property very slowly and meticulously to get that suspect in custody. Now the airship's worried that the suspect may have gotten out of this perimeter, or we may have jumped over the fence, but we're still going to wait to see the LAPD go into this property and search it. You know, for us in the news helicopter, we have to be up substantially higher than the police helicopters. They fly pretty low, and they have to maintain an orbit during their flight. So during that orbit, the suspect could move when the helicopter is on the opposite side, and that is a good reason why the airship could lose the suspect at times, because they're in that orbit and they can't stay in a hover right over the suspect. So they may have possibly lost the suspect, and he may have moved when it was the opportunity was in his favor. But at this point, they're still believing that the suspect could be hunkered down there in the bushes, and they're going to go through this property and search it. But again, this pursuit ending on Crenshaw Boulevard as the driver tried to ram his way through traffic. The ground units, the LAPD police officers were far back in the pursuit because the driver was driving so recklessly, and the driver really didn't have to do that. It didn't really have to try to ram those vehicles to get by. There was no way for that car to get by, but the driver did so and then realized we have nowhere to go. We're going to jump out and run, and they did so. Okay, we're going to keep an eye on that, but 60th and Bryanhurst, that's 60th at the top of the screen. That's where they jumped the fence and ran. They have one of the suspects in custody. Yeah, they did. 60th and Bryanhurst. Okay. Looking over here at 60th and Bryanhurst to see if we see that person that is in custody, one of the suspects. And there it is. Thank you, Derek. And there's the female suspect in custody. This is at Crenshaw and 60th. Crenshaw and 60th. So as we wait to see if the driver is still in that property, we're looking at one of the three in custody here at 60th and Crenshaw. Well, the LAPD has this neighborhood locked down between 60th and 59th Street or Place, east of Crenshaw and west of Bryanhurst. They are bringing in a canine unit to help in the search for the suspects that are outstanding. There's still two suspects that are in this area that are not in custody. The female is in custody. Well, as the airship continues to circle the scene there on 59th Place, we're going to look at the vehicle here. The other cars have cleared. They tried to ram that SUV. That's the blue Hyundai Sonata that they jumped out of. So southbound Crenshaw right now is shut down at that intersection as the officers search for the two outstanding suspects. Really was a wild and high-speed chase through the city, through city streets and on the freeway system. A lot of close calls, and at least one vehicle struck before the pursuit ended, and the vehicle may have struck some other additional vehicles during the chase as well. LAPD is trying to work all that out right now as they continue to search for the driver that we last saw here at this property on 59th Street, or Place. And again, amazingly enough, these suspects wanted for attempted murder and carjacking of that blue Hyundai Sonata. They used a sledgehammer in those crimes, and it's unclear what the condition is of that victim of the vehicle. Yeah? Okay. Outstanding. Okay, thank you. Excellent. We're hearing now my pilot Derek Bell telling me that the talk from the airship is that there are 2 in custody and 1 outstanding, so we're going to look for that second one. This is the female here that they have in custody at 60th and Crenshaw. The male driver and the other male passenger. That officer there that just raised his hand is talking directly to the airship overhead. And some of the residents here said that they saw one of the suspects that tried to run into one of these properties here on 59th. In fact, the open space. We didn't see that happen, but we were focused on that other house at the time. So they are going to be searching these properties as well off of 60th Street. LAPD has a canine unit. They're going to start searching soon for those suspect, or the suspect. We understand 2 in custody, 1 outstanding. That blue vehicle, that's the carjacked vehicle. And all 3 suspects, they didn't make it very far from the termination point. There's some conflicting information from witnesses as to what the suspects were wearing. I can tell you that the LAPD knows the name of the suspect, and they're talking about it right now. So he's known to police. Fortunately, it didn't sound like the suspect was able to get into this house that was occupied at the time with 2 young children. This house shortly after the police arrived and get them out and safe. And now they're just waiting for the canine unit to come in and do the search. The property is surrounded. Panning back over to the car, we saw the suspects bail out of that blue car where that officer's standing, run up to the corner, and then run in this direction, westbound. We watched the driver come running through this property here into the backyard and over the fence there, and then tried to make his way down the driveway here when he turned around and went back, and that's when we lost sight of the suspect. And the airship came over just moments later and said that they saw the suspect right in here between the homes in the bushes. So the suspect could still be there. We did have a few viewers say that they saw in our picture some activity after that right in this area behind the garage or next to the garage. So it's possible that the driver was able to, the suspect was able to go through those bushes and get to the back of the property there. So, but they're pretty confident that the driver didn't make it over the fence again, and they're going to bring in the canine unit to verify and search for that suspect. This is the perimeter that's set up in this neighborhood between 60th Street and 59th Place. That's Crenshaw on the left-hand side, and Bryanhurst off to the right-hand side. You see the vehicles being escorted away from this area, but LAPD has this locked down. They have 2 in custody, we're hearing, and 1 outstanding. We believe that suspect, the driver, is here on this property, and they're waiting to get several canine units in position to move in and search this area. But that's the main focus right now, that house in the center of the screen. officers there on the move all of a sudden. We'll see if they have movement. Okay, officers running to their cars to get their protective equipment and prepare for a full search here, the whole block. They're going to go door to door, but it looks like they're going to start here at this property where they last saw the driver. And for those of you who are just joining us on the web, this is Gil Levis in News Chopper 4 Bravo, along with my pilot Derek Bell. We are over a termination of a very dangerous high-speed chase that ended here at 59th Place, just east of Crenshaw. 3 suspects bailing out of a vehicle. Let me come over to Crenshaw and show you that vehicle right here by that bus. It was trying to get through traffic at the time. This intersection, or this road here to southbound on Crenshaw, was completely jammed with cars. The suspect in the blue vehicle, that's a carjacked vehicle there, and the center of your screen, that blue vehicle there, a blue Hyundai Sonata that had 3 occupants in it. They jumped out after they couldn't get anywhere, jumped out and ran into the neighborhood here along 60th Street. The driver peeling off and jumping the fence at this property here, and then one more time onto the property on 59th Place, into this backyard of this home where 2 children and a grandmother were inside the house. The police were able to evacuate them safely. The driver was last seen along the side of the house here, and now the LAPD has this area surrounded. They have 2 in custody, a female and a male passenger that exited the vehicle at the time of the crash. But it started as a carjacking, a violent carjacking, where the suspects used a sledgehammer on the victim of that blue Sonata. The condition of that person is unknown, but they are calling these suspects attempted murder suspects and carjackers. So at this point, the LAPD has this neighborhood on lockdown between Bryanhurst and Crenshaw on 59th Place and 60th Street. And now they're getting a team assembled of officers with a canine to search this property first to rule out the suspect there. Again, last seen in the bushes here along the west side of the house. And some of our viewers that were watching said they saw some activity at the top of our screen right in here by the garage at one point when that driver made his way to the west side in those bushes. So it's possible that the driver made it into possibly that tree, but also maybe into the garage. We're hearing now that there is an open door on that property. So it very well could be that the driver's inside the garage, and we really appreciate the extra eyes all the time on stories like this. So LAPD, very aware of the situation here at this property, the airship overhead, doing a great job keeping track of that suspect, and they're going to be moving in shortly. Hey, Kevin, go ahead. Okay, sounds good, Kevin. Just let me know when you want that to happen, and we will. Gate is open now. Yeah, they couldn't get that gate open for a long time. That is open now, and it was a dangerous high-speed chase through surface streets and on the 405 freeway at one point. The driver making their way along Manchester eastbound all the way into the LAX area, and then back towards the west, I should say, on Manchester, and then back east on Manchester to the 405 freeway. Went north on the 405 freeway. That's where we picked up the chase, watching the vehicle driving through heavy traffic on the shoulder of the road, weaving in and out of that heavy traffic, going up to the 10 freeway in the Palms area, and then back southbound down La Brea to Crenshaw, to Slauson, I should say, and then from Slauson to Crenshaw, that's where the pursuit ended, with the suspects bailing out. But again, it was very dangerous, a lot of close calls, a lot of people, pedestrians, people on bicycles that we saw, the driver blown right by, running red lights, driving on the wrong side of the road at a high rate of speed. We tracked the vehicle at one point at about 85 miles an hour down La Brea Boulevard. And the suspect vehicle, early on in the pursuit, struck another vehicle on Manchester, but continued on. Okay, Kevin, will do. Thank you. Great job. Thanks for all the help. Well, that's going to wrap up our coverage here. We have ground units on scene. Again, this is Hyde Park, 59th Place and Crenshaw, where a suspect is hiding in this neighborhood. The LAPD on scene. They're going to be doing a search very shortly with their canine unit to clear that house and the properties around here. 2 in custody, 1 outstanding. A very dangerous pursuit. Attempted murder suspects and carjackers that ended here at Crenshaw and 60th Street. LAPD doing a great job.